The skill of learning songs fast is one that every musician needs to master. If you're learning songs to play with artists, play in a band, play in church, or even just playing by yourself, improving your skill of learning music can accelerate your growth and efficiency as a musician. Over my career as a musician, I've learned thousands of songs and have reduced learning songs down to 3 questions that you have to answer. What's the structure? What's the pattern? And what's the context? So what's the structure? Basically, all learning the structure of a song is identifying the different sections of the song. For example, a chorus, verse, a bridge, interlude. Once you know these, you know the gist of what the song is supposed to sound like and where it's going. Knowing this is so vital to internalizing the song because if you know where the song is going, then it's easier to know how to get there. Now let's learn how to find the structure of a song. We do this through listening. So what I like to do is listen to a song a minimum of 3 times in this stage, from beginning to the end without my instrument. The first time I'm focusing on listening to the song in its entirety as a normal listener. Now on the second time listening, I listen to the song's sections that get repeated throughout the song and to my instrument part that I'm trying to learn. Even if you don't know if it's a chorus or verse or anything, just knowing that a section repeats itself lets you know the path of the song. Then on the third time, I try and write down what I think the section is. This could be a note on a notepad, or conveniently for me, my notes app on my phone is normally what I use. Now, like I said, it's a minimum of 3 times, but you can listen to the song as much as you need to. But my personal indicator for knowing if I've truly internalized the song is if I can sing the melody for each section without hearing it in context. For example, the song was a Goodness of God by CeCe Winans. The way I would know I know the song is if I can hum the melody of the chorus. It's like da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Okay, I know that's the melody of the chorus. It's like, what's the bridge? Dun, dun, da, 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 dun, da, 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 da. So now that tells me that I know this song well enough to play it in context because I've really internalized the song and the melody. I will say that knowing when you've internalized a song can be a different indicator for you than it is for me. You just have to learn yourself. By doing this over and over again, you will learn how well you retain after you've seen how you perform it live. Then after that, I answer the next question. What's the pattern? Every section of a song has a pattern that is repeated musically, but you have to learn what that pattern is. This is most times indicated as a chord progression and or melody line in certain sections of a song that give the section its identity. Now remember this, no matter how hard the song sounds, there is always a repeated pattern. And once you find it, learning it becomes so much easier. Because when you learn that part, then you're just repeating that part when it comes back later in the song. Now, I will say I've played many songs that have had a new pattern each section of the song, but those aren't the majority of the songs you'll probably be learning. The next part of this is visualizing the patterns, because that makes it so much easier to understand. And I do this by writing those patterns down as a chart. Now, I used to really not be a chart guy for a long time because I thought it wasn't good for retention because everything is written for you. But over the years, I've learned that it's actually great for retention when you use it to learn your progressions. What you'll start to notice after learning a lot of songs is that many songs share similar or the same exact chord progression, which can make it hard to remember progressions if you're learning 2 songs that are extremely similar. Now, I try not to use charts a lot live because it makes it hard for me to be in the moment when I'm playing. But if I have a ton of songs, like playing 30 or more songs for a pro wedding or corporate gig, I would definitely use charts playing those. Having some sort of visual cue can help you internalize the pattern easier when you're practicing. Which leads me to why the number system is so widely used in the professional music industry. Now, if you don't know what the Nashville number system is, it's basically a shorthand way of notating musical notes and chords within a key. For example, if you were playing a progression of a song in the key of C, such as C, G, A, and F, What the number system does is just identifies it with numbers based off of that C major scale. So basically what that means is that when you know what key the song is in, which for this song is the key of C, you just count up the notes in the major scale of the key, which would be the C major scale for this song, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This tells us what notes and chords would harmonically sound natural in this key. So now that we've done that, all we have to do now is find our chords or notes for this progression with the numbers. Here's the progression again: C, G, A, and F. So C would be the 1, G would be the 5, A would be the 6, and F would be the 4. So you would identify this as a 1, 5, 6, 4 progression in the key of C. Now, if you play an instrument like piano or guitar or any instrument that uses chords primarily, you're probably wondering, what type of chords are all of these in this progression? Are they major, minor, dominant? That's a great question. With the major scale, there are chords associated with every note in the scale. So the progression names for this progression would go like this. C is a major, G is a major, A is a minor, and F is a major. The more you practice and use numbers in your playing, the easier they'll become. There are a lot of benefits using the number system, especially as you grow as a musician. But the reason pros use these is because it makes it a ton easier to write and also clearer to identify the patterns within any song that they learn. If you don't know or use the Nashville number system, I highly encourage you to learn it and use it because it will make your life a lot easier with learning and retaining music. Now, once you've learned the patterns in the song, now it's time to make it your own, which leads me to my last question. Now, really quick before we get back into the video, I've been looking at my analytics here recently, and over 70% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you enjoy my videos, please consider pressing that subscribe button below. And if you do, I'll make this promise to you, that every video I make will get bigger, better, and more informative every single time. Thank you all so much for your support. Let's get back to the video. Now let's talk about the last one. What's the context? Now, once you know the pattern, then you need to know the context, which would be the genre. The reason why this is important is because now you can know how to approach the song with the right feel. Then if you want to add any extra flair to your part, you know what the vibe should be. Knowing the context of what you're playing will determine what direction you should take in your embellishments so you don't take away from the overall vibe of the song. So spoken plainly, when you know the genre, then you know the context. Now, for example, I'm a bass player who grew up playing in church and still plays in church today. And the two genres that I've really honed in over the years is gospel and worship. So much so that I don't even practice my context much for church music anymore because I've become so familiar with these genres, it's become second nature to me when I play in church. This is because I've played so many songs in these two genres that I've accumulated a ton of licks, tricks, and tools that I can pull from anytime I play these types of songs. Like for worship music, most of the times progressions will be some combination of 6, 4, 1, and 5. And they'll probably throw like a 2 or 3 in there to make it a little different. Now, these patterns and cues are all learned when you learn the context or genre that you're playing in. As you start to learn genres, you'll start to pick up on a lot more of these cues and elements as you learn multiple songs within a genre. Now, to get better at learning context, you should start off by learning different genres. I'll be honest, the best place to start is by learning the genres you play the most of, then branching out from there. So if you're like me and you are very familiar with gospel and worship music, you should definitely branch out to something like Latin music or Latin genre, for example, or whatever you don't feel strong at. And the way I determine if I'm not strong enough at a genre is by asking myself this question. If I got called for a huge tour playing this genre of music, would I be comfortable? And if my answer is no, then I should work on that genre. So take time to evaluate yourself and work on your song context. Now, when you answer these 3 questions every time you learn a song, you will notice that you will start to get better at learning and retaining songs, because you'll start to develop techniques that can be repeated versus having a new approach every time you learn a song. When you start to get better at answering these questions, you can actually get to a point, like some of us, where you can listen through your songs and write your charts without your instrument at the same time. And once you've learned the context or genres you play well enough, you don't have to spend as much time working on them, which makes the process of learning songs incredibly fast. Now, this is just scratching the surface of a few of these techniques, but the goal of this video was to give you direction on what techniques pro musicians implement when learning songs fast, so you can grow in those as well to cut down on your time learning songs. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below. And also, if there's any way that you like to learn songs fast, let me know in the comments below as well. So if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe and the bell so you're notified when the newest videos are uploaded. Now, if you want to support this channel, there's a couple of ways you can. You can go to my website, travisdykesmusic.com, and make a purchase to any of the products on there, and that'll help give this channel kickback to bring you more videos. And also, you can check out any of my affiliate links in the description below, to where if you click and make a purchase to any of those products or go to any of those sites, this channel will get a kickback to also bring you more videos. Now, if you want a video that's going to challenge you as a musician, you should definitely check out this one right here.